Okay, so something a little different now. I got this 88 Plymouth Reliant K. Not really what I'm usually into, but it has some interesting characteristics. So the car really runs great and it drives good, but the steering rack is bad in it. And it has manual steering. So I was, you know, looking for a rebuild. You can't find anything. And you could find a couple of power steering, but no manuals. I mean, how many of these things had manual? So then I did the junkyard thing, and it's remarkable how few parts are available for any of these. But I did finally find one in Florida, and I got it. So I'm going to do a little work to it and then put it in. So let's get to it. Okay, so there it is. The ever so hard to find manual steering rack. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. The bellows aren't ripped, so shouldn't have got any dirt or water in it before I got it. And I think the guy said this car only had 50 something thousand miles on it. But anyway, I got new bellows, new tie rod ends, inner and outer. I'm going to clean this up, take it apart, and I'm hoping I can see into it a little bit and it's not dry as a bone. So let me get it cleaned up and apart, and we'll be back. So although the rack felt good, it seemed like it was good. Once I got the bellows off and I turned it a little bit, all these pieces started coming out. Just crumbs. It's the bushing from around the end here. So, but I know the rest of the rack is probably good because this was a low miles car and the bellows didn't have any holes in them, so I don't think any dirt ever got into it. I've been looking online to try to find a replacement bushing. There's nothing. You can't find anything on a manual steering rack from one of these cars. I mean, how many had manual steering? Very few. You can't find a used one, and now after that, that's the second one with the same bushing, so why bother? So I'm going to have to see what I can find to work in here. I just measured the shaft for the inside and outside diameter of a bushing, and I'm just going to search for a bushing that size and see what I can get that looks like I might be able to make it work. Okay, after quite a search, days worth in my spare time trying to find this bushing for this or any other steering rack that will fit this, forget it. No. So I looked at the other bushings I had found, and there was different ones: plastic, rubber, brass, and so I was trying to decide on what to get. And I had read some professional rebuilders of steering racks. They use brass bushings, so I ended up buying brass. There's two reasons, but this is what I got. Um, got the little grooves in it. It's supposed to be for oil, but we'll see. And this is one of the reasons I got brass. Doesn't fit. It's a little snug. And I figured if I got rubber or plastic, that would be really hard to work with. So the brass was probably the easiest. So on to get this to fit on here, it's right there. I just took a piece of pretty coarse sandpaper, emery cloth, and I wrapped it around a piece of metal that was pretty straight. Well, it is straight. It's a steel rod. I forget what the thickness is. It looks like it's about almost 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little more. It's a Model A kingpin. And I just sanded back and forth, rolled it one time around this way, and then I took it off, turned it around, and sanded it and rolled it one more time. I think I did it twice. And lo and behold, boom, it went on. Now I had the same issue with the outside. It was too big. So for that one, I took a bolt and a nut and couple of washers, and you can see, squeeze it together, and took it down with the drill. Took a little longer to do the outside. I guess it's a bigger area, but it fits nice. And I even got a little taper to it, so it goes in most of the way snug, and then that last little bit is tight. Then I got the brass one, and it's got the hole in it for the oil. We're going to make that a grease fitting. And I'm going to put this in, going to mark it, and drill a hole in here in a nice place to put a grease fitting. You know, should I? I don't know. I guess it won't hurt. And why I got it out looks easy to do. So I'm going to look on the car and see where where's a good place for a grease fitting. Okay, so I pretty much got it all cleaned up, ready to go. This is going to go in. There's a hole I drilled here. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but there's a hole drilled here for the grease fitting. And I'm going to hopefully line up with that one. After it's in, then I'll drill that one out to fit the grease fitting. So basically, I'm going to use JB Weld. I've used this before on a lot of things, and it really works well. Plus, you can actually remove it. It's not easy, but you can. So I'm going to just put a thin coat in here. I already cleaned it up with degreaser and everything I needed to. Just going to put a thin coat in there, and this is going to go in. And as you can see, it gets kind of snug there, so I just tap it in until this lines up. Let that dry, and I should be good to go. Okay, so it wasn't recording when I tapped the bushing in, but it went in nice. The hole lined up almost perfect for the grease fitting. I just had to drill the second part of it out for the into the brass, and I got to tap it, and we're good. Okay, I got the hole threaded out. Let me see if I can get this started. Even though it's threaded, it's a little tight. There we go. It started. Okay. That went in nicely. That was a good idea to run the grease through the fitting before you do anything. Make sure you get all the metal out of there, if there was any. I got that all cleaned out in there with Q-tips before. Okay, I got it all cleaned out. Yeah, the grease fitting is put in the other end. And there's a pretty good, well, I can't get it on the camera here, but there's a pretty good space in here. So I'm going to load this rack up with grease and roll it in a couple of times, maybe twice. And then I'll put the tie rod ends on and finish putting it together, get it and put it in the car. Let me get some grease going here. Oh, actually, what I'm using is, I wasn't sure what to use, and then I found this I had already, and I like the extra tacky, and I think I used this on my Model A, so it must be pretty good. Got a butter knife for it, or a dinner knife. Perfect. Getting its once every 40 years feeding, I guess. Okay, so for now, pretty much clean up the grease a little bit. Where are they? Put the new inner tie rod ends on here, and then the boots. And I'll be putting the car in the garage here to swap it out. I think this is coming out quite nice. Very. But anyway, these just screw in. There's a little notch in here. I used a pipe wrench to tighten it up. Two of them actually. One right on the edge here. And going to use Loctite too, because you don't want them unscrewing. There's a little thing you can ding it over with a punch, with the way the ones I had on it were. So I'm going to do that also. But all right, let me put this back together. Okay, I brought it outside, maybe get a better look at it. But there it is. It's done, ready to go in the car. Well, I didn't put the tie rod ends on yet, but ready to go in. There's that nice grease fitting. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so there's no video on the install of this. Once I got it off the ground, I seen I had to drop the frame down. I wasn't going to do that laying on a creeper, so I dropped it off at the shop up the street, and they put it in for me. Oh, here's where that grease fitting ended up. Nice convenient spot to hit it with some grease every time you change the oil. But I've been driving it around for well over a month now. This car handles great. I can't believe it's a K car. It handles great, and I'm pretty happy with it. But I hope this helps somebody out, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.